Hi, I want to welcome everybody. My name is Cher Schwint, and I'd like to tell you my story. And I can say one thing: I should be in the Guinness Book of World Records for the most corruption in Florida over cases. There is just no doubt in my mind I have the award for that. Anyways, let me go back to like 1990, where I had a horse stolen that was a thoroughbred that was from Man o' War and from and the stallion I had won his father won 3 million and something dollars. Um, on a report, it said that the horse's value was $45,000, and so that got the cops and agricultural's eyes, like 50 Cent pieces. So what's oh. I thought somebody caught an otter. They were giving me a message. So, anyways, what they did is they came to my house while I was making breakfast, and I guess I'll just be typing out messages while I'm talking. So, anyways, what they did is they said I was beating my horse, which I wasn't. I was inside cooking breakfast for neighbors and stuff, and they hauled ass with my horses. It was like, you got to be kidding me, and they also starved them, so that way in their court pictures they look like I was a nasty old person that had horses that starved my animals to death. When I had photographs of the day before they took them, that they didn't even have a rib showing on them. So then when I went to court and had receipts for huge round bales being delivered at my address in my name, then they claimed that there wasn't any food for my animals where I lived, but there was 5 garbage pails full of horse feed and vitamins for them and everything. So that was just great. So when I ended up seeing the photograph of my horse and how they starved him, I started crying in court, and I asked the judge if I could ask agricultural again if they seen food at my place, and I did, and they said no, and I told the judge they're lying. This was back in 1990, so I pretty much knew right then and there that here we go with the horse thieves with our system. Well, they took all my horses and then gave me 2 back. And while they had them the first time, my filly got knocked up because they put my stallion with my filly, and I didn't want her to have any babies yet because she was too young. So then the second time they took her, they got her pregnant again, so she was nursing on the outside after they starved her to death, and and being pregnant on the inside is terrible. It was terrible. It was a nightmare that I went through that was just unbelievable. So I was also fighting at the time my ex-husband that wanted custody of a child that wasn't even his. He was sterile, and we all knew it. It wasn't like it was just something that we just found out about. So I was fighting him. There was a lot of false charges put on me. That I didn't do anything. I was in my living room of my house. And never left my house and got in more trouble than ever. And every time I got in trouble, they had no evidence against me. But I always got convicted there. So I decided I better move to get away from my ex, right? And so I had my own business, which I was doing good. I built my own home. And I just stood in the living room, just started crying. I said, "Oh my God, my whole life's getting shattered, and I haven't even done anything to have this happen to you." So I moved up here, and my ex tried to get my neighbor to do the same thing they were doing down there, trying to make me look cruel and mean so he can get my son that wasn't his. With a lot of fraud, just so much fraud. It wasn't even funny. So I ended up beating the 2 best attorneys in Tampa to get my son, and then I lost him over lies, and then I got him back when I moved to Brooksville. So I pretty much have really investigated animal theft a lot since then. Then in 2001, there was another lady that had her animals stolen by Arlene Ballinger in the county. They lied. They miscounted over 100 animals. And I seen these animals. I was a witness to it, and they were all fine. You know, there wasn't anything wrong. They weren't mangy. They weren't skinny. Their hoofs were done. And I knew the lady because she lived across the street from me in Tampa. Her name was Julie Warnick. Well, her husband died through all this. And when I would be, when I was up here in Brooksville, I'd go to the feed store, and there was this girl, her name was Jill Bash, that I just felt was really suspicious for some reason. She was a real shady character, yeah. So anyways, she had told me she just got some horses from somebody, and the husband died, and I thought, wow, that's terrible. Well, I found out that it was Julie's horses because she had asked me over to her house, and I noticed all Julie's animals over there. Well, what happened is animal control was taking animals from people and hiding them out there. So I got with Julie, and I was talking to her and asked her who the person was and what they looked like that took her animals, and she described Jill to a T. And that was it. Yes, I am here. So, yes, here. Just an email. So anyways, as always. So anyways, after that, then animal control was riding on me for years for animals that were turned loose, and animals. Am I busy? Always. I spelled it wrong. No. No, I'm not busy. Not busy enough to reply to him, but anyway. So, no, what was I going to say? Oh boy, we've kind of like lost it. Let's see, they took my animals and I came up here. Oh yeah, so the neighbors were letting my animals loose, and they had cameras on my house to know when I left to do their stupid little pranks, and I had a lot of evidence in regards to that too, and then, well, let's say back in December of 2005, I got like 26 tickets for not having vaccinations in the county ordinance book. It states that they're exempted from vaccinations, and also they weren't of age if there were dogs, and they weren't due yet till January 1st, so I really got screwed there. No, I'm not helping my friend today. Nope. No. So anyways, I helped this handicapped lady for nothing, so. Anyway, so, now where was I? See what men do to you? So anyways, let's see, where were we? Let's see where we're at. Jill took the animals. They were they were poisoning my animals. They were doing all kinds of stuff, to me. It was crazy. So, about January, the judge gave me 60 days, which the county attorney changed the 60 to 30 days corruptly. That's government fraud. To make it look like I didn't have them done in time, but I had them done in time. I had all my animals done in time before 30 days. And they still got me, to go into court. They didn't tell me why, so I could defend myself. They never tell you why you're going to court. And, and it was terrible. It was like they wouldn't give me time to get an attorney, or they wouldn't give me an attorney. That was totally wrong. I couldn't defend myself. So, anyways, they came to my house, and they had no inspection warrants, which they're supposed to have, and they were harassing me all the time with no inspection warrants. And they took 13 puppies, lied about their conditions. I took photographs of all of them, They said, oh, they got fleas. I said, you're full of it. I said, they don't have a flea on them. I said, I flipped them over, took pictures. Okay, then gotta run and get the what? Okay. Okay. So anyways, now where was I? Oh jeez. Ugh. So, they were doing a lot of things wrong. They took my puppies. Yeah, so they took my puppies. And the photographs that I gave them before the 30 days, it was the 13th. It was February 13th, was it? February 13th. And, I emailed it in. Or was it January 30th? I don't know. I gave you a copy of it anyways. But it was done on time, and I mailed one to Animal Control, one to my attorney, and then I went to Animal Control and got their tags and had them stapled to each picture that they wanted. And then that's when I was fraudulently brought into court, and they said that I didn't have them, which is a lie. So they never gave me no custody hearing or anything, and they failed due process, and they violated, the 4th, 5th, 14th, and 15th Amendment of my civil rights, Constitution. Oh my God, so not having any kind of defense really didn't help matters any. It was like, and they were lying. They had fraud evidence against my puppies. They had animals that weren't even my animals. A horse that wasn't even my horse. I told the judge, I said, look, these aren't even my animals. I said, what kind of bullshit is this? I told him right in front of his face. I said, you had this planned out before I even got here. You wanted all my animals. Well, the whole purpose my land was the only easement to go to the 80 acres behind me, which the millionaire wanted. So they all got involved because they all figured, you had the county's, heavy equipment operators that figured, oh, they're going to make big bucks doing this. And I had breeders and rescues after me because they thought they'd profit off my animals. And I had real estate brokers fighting against me. I had everybody fighting against me. They were shooting at us, our family, everything. They shot out the windows of my house. I mean, unbelievable story. They made me tear down, the county lied and made me tear down my RV, saying, you couldn't see it from the road. It was behind privacy fence. I told the judge, I said, you're paying for my next RV. Nothing but liars, you know. The photograph they had, because of a stupid refrigerator out my front yard, was put in a truck, and all they did is took another view of the refrigerator on day one and said I didn't do anything with the refrigerator, and they were lying. I did. So then they brought me into court for that, saying there was trash in front of the gate, and there wasn't no trash. It was a box of grapefruit some friend dropped off to me. So, I mean, it was all just a bunch of lies. So I told them, I said, my next RV is going to be on you. They made me tear it down with my hands. So, yeah, they wanted to build a development out back, so let's just screw me over, and destroy my kids, frame my kids for a paintball gun incident. They had no evidence. He was supposed to get a jury trial, never got a jury trial. So then, while I was in court, the judge said, take all our animals. I said, take all my animals? Am I hearing you right? I mean, you didn't even convict me or charge me with anything. And you're going to just take all my animals that don't have a rib showing. There was tons of food in the garage for them. They had clean water and food. None of them had fleas. They were, everything was perfect. I had evidence that I went to the vet and my puppies were dewormed and everything. There wasn't anything they could charge me with. But then they wouldn't take the tags to show that I had proof. They wouldn't take anything that I had. They suppressed evidence. Everything I had to prove that they were lying, they wouldn't take into the file. And then they had a witness they said was a witness, which wasn't anything at all. They said her name was Cheyenne Moore, and her name is not Cheyenne Moore. Her name is Cheyenne North. So they committed perjury there and more government fraud. So I come home from court and I'm thinking, oh, this is just great. He's letting me have two. Big deal. Whoopie-doo. If I was so cool and mean, why you letting me have two? So I come home and all the trucks are already here. The courthouse is only like 3 minutes away. So I thought, oh my God, I can't believe this. What a nightmare this is. So they sat there and then to note previously, Wildlife Fish and Game came here and told me my animals were just fine, not to relax and not to worry. Yeah, sure they are. Yeah, they were getting shot in my backyard, and they forced me to witness watching them all get shot. Okay, that was the hardest thing, because I was standing there thinking, oh, it's a dart gun, okay, it's a dart gun. It wasn't a dart gun, it was a damn shotgun. Okay, you just don't go around shooting recklessly in somebody's backyard and letting bullets fly everywhere over animals that don't have a bite record and that weren't attacking. I mean, it was total bullshit. Then after they shot him, if it wasn't bad enough that they shot him, they put these wire things around their neck and they were dragging out puppies and they were turning purple, choking them to death. And I thought, I'm not going to stop till you guys are in jail, in prison, because this is totally wrong. It's treason and everything else. I mean, it's just totally wrong. So then I put an appeal in, and the Judge Merritt Sr. wouldn't look at it because he said it wasn't done by an attorney. I thought, hey, I have rights to defend myself, okay? Then I went to ethics, and of course they're crooked, They couldn't figure out who I was going against, and I gave them evidence of every single person and what they did. I said, what do you mean I'm not showing you? It's right there in black and white and color, So I knew right then that it's the good old boy system here, so then after that, about a year later, September 2nd, I had left to take my daughter out of town. I came home and the cops were at my house and animal control, and I'm like, what is going on here? Well, they wanted the female that I had. So they sat there, broke into my house. I have photographs of the door that they chiseled out to come into my house because they probably GPSed my car. We already know that there was cameras out here. They bugged my phone because they knew every conversation I was saying. And they got into my computers. They've hacked more of my computers. I swear to God, I must have had like 50 computers since 2005, maybe. I'd pick up computers all the time, just for that reason. So anyways, after that, I was at the end of the driveway, and I asked the deputy, I said, Deputy Tiber, I said, were my doors open in my house when you got here? And he goes, oh, I don't know. And I thought, what do you mean? I mean, this is crazy. I said, I didn't leave the doors open. I said, they're both wide open. Well, my mother was in the house that she had a metal rod put in her leg, so she was in a recliner and she couldn't walk in the living room. I mean, she was in the living room. So she told me everything that happened and handed me the business card to John Tisano that came into the house. I mean, he just came into the house, okay? So I thought, this is insane. How can they do this and get away with it? So what happened is they came into my house knowing I was gone, not thinking anybody was here. They brought chickens out to the house so that way it would chase them out, they thought. And they were in my yard chasing my animals out of the yard. No inspection warrant again. No search warrant again. And they chased the female out on the road, and then I was threatened if I didn't put her in the animal control truck, I was going to go to jail. And I thought, you know what? This is really ate up. I mean, I couldn't believe it. So then, he didn't give me a ticket. They hid me off the docket so nobody would know what was going on. And not only did they hide it off the docket, every date was always screwed up so that way you couldn't find out what really happened on the day it happened. They came here on a Sunday, September 2nd, 2007. They wrote they were here September 3rd, 2007. Now, why is that? Just everything didn't jive. So after they shot my animals the first time, they figured, I have to back up a little bit. They figured that they would have another prank call. They had a bunch of restraining orders that weren't true, so that way I couldn't find out who had my animals, and ruin my character that way. They got to do that, to make them look good, So I had several restraining orders from everybody that got animals saying I did this or I did that, and I never did, and it was nuts. So then, so anyways, they sat there and they made a prank call to the health department and to DCF and said it smelled so bad over here that there was dog feces everywhere. Well, I got 2 reports, and they said there was no dog feces or urine inside my house, and there wasn't anything outside my house. And they asked me, where did they go to the bathroom? I said, they went way back into the forest. I said, they don't go around the house. So back to when they stole Star, from breaking into my house, I couldn't believe it. It was like, the judge goes, oh, we're keeping her. She's possession of the county now. I thought, you rats. I swear to God, you rats. Then they came and they poisoned my other one that was whining one night. I called the sheriff's department and I told them, somebody's outside. I said, I heard the hoods on both my Camaros open. That was under my bedroom window. And Nico was whining at the window, and I knew somebody was there. Well, the next morning, somebody obviously put something in my house. Nico was poisoned, laying beside me in bed, dead. And it wasn't too much before that a guy was in my backyard looking for Nico, saying he lost his puppy. And I told Deputy Kramer, I said, this is baloney. I said, there's no puppy in my backyard. It's double fence. I said he was looking for my animal to poison it. And he wouldn't do anything about the guy trespassing or anything. Nothing. They never did nothing on my behalf for my entire life. Has the state's attorney's office ever done anything on my behalf or the sheriff's department? For horses being stolen, go-kart being stolen when I had proof, just everything, it was just nuts. It's like they pick and choose who they want to help. It's like, so we never got justice here. They framed my son with a paintball gun thing, ended up all over the state of Florida. Oh, he did it. He didn't do it. He was supposed to get a jury trial. And they didn't even give him a jury trial with Judge Niels. They didn't even have any evidence. The teacher, they said in court that Dale admitted to doing it in the classroom. And Dale didn't admit to doing anything in the classroom because I talked to the teacher and they said Dale didn't utter a word. I said, yeah. And then when I watched him do a voice stress test on my son, they left the room and they both came back with a stress test. Wasn't even my son. To frame him. So there was a lot that went on that case that was fraud. And it was a Detective Mason that was at that paintball gun party that all the kids brought paintballs, and my son wasn't even invited. He was playing basketball next door. But a girl got hit in the eye, so they had to blame somebody on the outside of the yard so they wouldn't get sued. Yeah, so they screwed my son's education up, schooling up, his whole life, reputation, everything. And then while he was on house arrest over this stupid incident, then the cops sit there and frame him saying he broke into houses. How are you going to break into houses when you're on an ankle bracelet? You can't leave the box, 50 foot. It's like there's too much that's going on in Hernando County that is just so wrong. It's just, and they don't even care. The thing is, they're not even smart enough to care about leaving a guilt trail on everything that they did. There's evidence on every single step they took. And they didn't care. They figured they're going to get away with it, and, that's that. This person can't do nothing, and they just torment you even more, and more, the terrorist. So then after that, I decided, before my 4 years, hey, I'm suing the county. Dang, they sat there, shot all my animals that were worth a lot of money. I worked hard to get them. I busted my rear ends taking care of them, and everything was up to par, so I had an $11 million lawsuit out. They took my horse that didn't have a rib showing. She was like a show horse. It was like, you're kidding me. You know, so I was suing them, and then they decided they would ruin the case by making up a scene that wasn't even true, that my animals attacked, my two Siberian Huskies attacked some sheep when there wasn't even any sheep at this lady's yard. Animal control and the deputy never came to my house. The lady comes to my house and she goes, "Sherry, your animals attacked my sheep." I said, "You're kidding me." I said, "They're in the house." And she said, she sat there and said that they did, and I thought, well, there's no way I know my animals didn't do it, you know. So I didn't even know she had sheep. You would think that you'd hear them go baa baa all the time. No, there was no baas, there was no nothing, you know. So after that, I decided, me and my daughter, I thought, I have meds here from when I did have my animals that will take a 4-inch wound by 3-inch and mend it in the size of a dime the next day. You know, I can do something to help these animals or whatever. Bobcat got it or something, you know. So me and my daughter went over to her house. She knocked on the front door and nobody answered. We walked to the side of the garage and nobody answered. And I walked into the backyard. We both did. We were looking around and we were like, okay, where's the sheep? There is no sheep. The lady comes out and I said, hey, don't be calling no animal control because they're not even gonna, you know, find out what's true and what's not. They're just gonna kill my animals. I said, this is nuts, you know, and this lady was lying on the report, and then animal control lied. The animal controller, no deputy was at this lady's house, at this woman's house. It was all a frame job. And so after that, oh, they did it twice. They didn't just do it once. They did it twice. I was in the paper, and my animals were in the house. I said, boy, you guys, I hope rot in prison for the rest of your stinking lives for lying like this. I had videos of going past her house after the 2 weeks. In the report it said, oh, they must have jumped 2 fences to get my sheep. Well, I guess if they jumped 2 fences to get in to get your sheep, then the sheep must have jumped 2 fences to get out. I said, and I don't see any evidence here that, or any blood or anything, that there was anything even at this property. There was no kennel that was put up that was in the photographs. The kennel they put up 2 weeks later did not have wooden posts on the corners of it, didn't have hay in it, didn't have feed buckets in it. It was all a setup, you know, and it's bullshit, you know. Oh, Judge Tompering should be in prison for setting me up like that. You know, so anyways, oh, that wasn't the end. I mean, a year ago, May 20th, 2011, they burnt everything out here. They were hoping to kill me so that way the government would see all the files I have from all these different people that this happened to. So it wasn't just me. And yeah, they burned me out hoping to kill me and my files. And they took the tag off my RV. They burnt my RV, my Camaro, my scooter. My other Camaro got damaged pretty bad too. My house caught on fire. Everything. I lost everything. Clothes, all dishes, everything electric, saddles. Everything was packed in my RV. I was getting ready to leave. And 2 hours after the fire department came here and told me to get out because everything was on fire. And the only person that knew that I would probably be leaving was the county attorney, John Jobin. So, and plus there was no tag. It was all lies. Fire department claimed it was the refrigerator that did it, so that way I might be able to claim off my insurance. It wasn't the refrigerator. There was the tire next to the refrigerator that was in that RV was all there. It was the tire on the front passenger side, furthest away from the house. There was no rubber left. And the fire started up there where it went right down into the ground. I could take you out there today and show you where it started at. And the sheriff's department, you know what the sheriff's department said after the fire? What Kramer said? Don't be calling the sheriff's department, don't be calling the sheriff's department, Sheriff. I thought, you son of a bitch, you had something to do with this. You know? That guy is just unbelievable. So anyways, he goes into Tom Brink and he lies and says, I have 2 large wolves. Shawnee has legs that are only like 8 inches long. She's like a Sheltie Collie. Okay? Nakai isn't very big at all either. And they're all Siberian Huskies from a Siberian Husky breeder. And he goes, oh yeah, I know wolves. They're 2 large canines. I said, you're a liar. You're just nothing but a stinking liar. You should be fired. You took an oath, and you're lying about everything. So anyway, many cases, you know, they trespass, you know, they really did me in. So I'm still fighting. I don't care, you know, I mean, I don't care. They did that to Julie. They did it to Butch and Jill. What they did is they gave them 2 thin horses so that way they can go back and raid their paint horses and their thoroughbreds. And that was Patrick Pace. But Patrick Pace worked for animal control. But guess what? Didn't even have a driver's license to even drive those vehicles. And then they took the horses to the dump, to the Hernando dump landfill, and shot him in the head and left him there. Nice animal control we have here, don't we? Yeah. Well, I'm getting ready to bury their ass because I've about had it. They're constantly killing animals and taking them from people and selling them on the side like they did my puppies in the Florida Lupine Association for $5,000 each. I had 2 witnesses that worked for the girl that lives behind me that said that they were selling the Florida Lupine. I went there, and sure enough, there's her name right in the Florida Lupine, 2006, Melissa Kondrak. Check it out. I'm not wrong. So anyways, Butch and Jill, then you got Susan. They took her animals from the vet, her puppies from the vet, which is stupid. You don't take animals from the vet. You're taking them in there for a reason. You know, so they ended up taking her animals, and who else did they take? Oh, a bunch of people. Then the Elma's animals, they took Elma's animals and gave her a receipt to the puppies they took that were $10,000 animals. That's in Hillsborough County, right? Lady's an elderly lady, you know, and they destroyed her life bad. Then tells the judge that, oh no, they didn't take any puppies when she had a receipt for it. She's been sitting there fighting. Her name's Elma Otto. O-T-T-O. Yep, in the federal courts. They about killed that lady. She's probably, you know, it's terrible what they did to her. Just terrible. Then they did it to Alice. Alice is in Hillsborough County. They did it to Patty Dixon. That's Hillsborough County. Hernando County, they had a bunch of cases. Eddie Warren, they went into Eddie Warren's house, said, oops, we're in the wrong yard. Walked off with all his animals, his paint horses, all his animals. Not only that, they took his animals next door where his daughter lived, okay? Yeah, real nice people there, you know. They put the mutts in animal control and they sell the other ones on the side so you don't know. They're all heifers. You know, they're just destroying everybody's life. And then you got Carol Moss's case where I went there the day before they took their animals and had took photographs of them all. There wasn't a thing wrong with them. They miscount them as usual. And they always sit there and they say a child is in danger so that way they don't need to get a search warrant to go in and take all your animals. Well, funny thing, they were on TV and the newspapers with the vet and everything, and they were claiming everything's okay at Carol Moss's place, but went and robbed him the next day. And then they took her husband, threw him against the wall when they raided her. It was Vice and everybody else, you know. Threw him against the wall and made him feel like a damn criminal, you know. Their lies are way too much. Handcuffed him. Oh, there's a child in danger. It was his own child. It was his own son. He wasn't in any danger. They destroyed their life. Stole everything. Not only stole everything, stole her mother's animals next door. Okay? She died. Yep. Same as Julie Hornick's husband died. People are getting post-traumatic. People are dying of heart attacks. People are having nervous breakdowns. People are losing their homes because it destroys their livelihood. There's fraud. fraud reports, fraud evidence, no evidence, suppressed evidence. They violate color law. Oh my God. What is the statute? 933, was it 20? You have to have an inspection warrant. And if you don't, you're entitled to $250,000 is what I told this one lady once for every time they didn't go on their property with an inspection warrant. Okay? Kids are suffering from all this crap. One little girl stopped talking for, 3-4 years over a raid. Her last words was, Grandma, Grandma, because they were ripping a puppy out of her hands. Okay? This is what I'm fighting for. I'm fighting for the children that are hurt from this, the families that are hurting from this, the animals, the homes that they're losing because they took away their livelihood. There's no way that they know how to make any money. They lie and say that, everything's overpopulated to sit there and try to get your animals. It's bullshit, Animal control needs to go down. We don't need kill shelters, okay? We don't need racketeering. Racketeering is within children and animals, and it's wrong. They put a lien on my house. I don't even know how it got there. They lie so much and they're so corrupt. We're just their bread and butter. We are the victims. And anyways, it's sad what they're doing. It's just pitiful. We suffer post-traumatic from it. And it's not funny happening. So I'm hoping that we can get some help. Because there isn't a place you can go to get it. And they're violating your constitutional rights and your civil rights and your human rights, your godly rights, to live in peace. And then what they do to the kids, because they're traumatized, they end up doing drugs and stuff like that, and that's no good either, it's crazy. It's just, the government's own enemy is they're taking it out on their own people. And it's just not right. If you need to call me or anything, my name is Cher Schwint. I go by Looking Through Wolves Eyes online, or Shawnee Nakai. My number is 352-544-8122. And when my cell phone's on, it's 352-293-5866. This is a friend of mine. He's good. But anyways, God bless you all, and I hope that we can get some help for even all these other cases. And I hope you get the judges for treason. You've got Judge Tombrink, you have Judge Scaglione, you have Merritt Sr., you have Judge Hitzman, you have Judge Neal. They all need to go. It's not right. It's just not right. Anyways, love to all, and God bless you all, and I just hope that everybody gets help, okay? Because I'm definitely on it, and I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to give up on you all. Anyways, thank you.